Hello, welcome to Jason the Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I'm going to try to do a short video talking about John Wick Chapter 4, which I just saw earlier this evening. I got home, I've been thinking about it, what I'm going to say. I'm trying to do a shorter video here and maybe do a longer video at some other point. I might have to do like a live stream to really get all my thoughts out. First thing I'm just going to say is that I'm very disappointed in this movie. I was very underwhelmed by it. Not It's epic in some sense, but in some sense, it felt like the same movie as the other ones. It didn't feel like they did enough new, interesting things that really brought something new to the table, except for the Paris scene. And I'll just say the stuff they did in Paris at the very end of the movie was really great. Like, I loved what they did. It was something new, exciting, I've never seen before, and I was wowed by some of that stuff. I was like, okay, that was a cool thing they did. The stuff they did in Japan and Berlin felt like stuff I've seen already in the John Wick movies. It didn't feel like anything new or exciting, do anything different that I was like, okay, that needed to be here. But I think the problem with this movie for me is this is the fourth movie of the franchise, and the bar is set up so high. I'm such a huge fan of the first three. I think it's the greatest action franchise of all time. John Wick Chapter 2, I think, is the greatest action movie of all time. It's the perfect movie in my sense. As far as action movies go, it's the perfect action movie. It doesn't disappoint at all. And so the bar is so high that when I got to this fourth movie, it's like, man, for this movie to be good, it has to be up to that level that the other three are at. At least the last two, I would say. It needs to be, because anytime you make sequels, it needs to be as good or better than the one before. If you make a sequel and it's worse, then it's so much worse, because the worst thing is having expectations and not meeting them. And that's the problem for me. This movie is it just did not meet my expectations at all. And maybe my expectations were too high. That's very possible. But I think, and the problem is, I've been waiting 4 years for this movie. So I've been so excited and looking forward to this movie for so long. And maybe it was delayed because of COVID, and that's part of the problem. But 4 years felt like a long time to wait for this one, because I still think the third one was a really good movie overall, really great action sequences. And so getting this one, I'm like, all right, we're going to see. I mean, they haven't disappointed me yet, so so I'm so excited for this. And so, yeah, seeing it, and I was just like, oh man, like, I think they dropped the ball on this one. And I don't think we need a fourth one. After watching this, I was like, why did we need a fourth one? Why didn't we just end it with a third one? And they left you on a cliffhanger in the third one, so you had to have a fourth one. But I remember watching the third one and being like, oh, I thought this was the end. I had no idea they were planning on more. I thought the third was the last one. So when I saw the third one, I was like, oh, good, we're in this great franchise. And when it was like, oh, there's another one, I'm like, oh, I was kind of disappointed, because I thought, oh, this has been a great place to end this franchise. But okay, if they make another good one, then bring me 10 more John Wicks. I'll watch as many John Wicks as you give me, as long as they're good. But now watching this fourth one, I'm like, okay, you guys ran out of ideas. You don't know what to do anymore. You had a perfect trilogy and you ruined it because you wanted to make another one and make money, I guess. I don't know. You had an idea and it didn't work, I think. And yeah, there's several problems with this movie. I mean, the good thing about the movie is the Paris scene. The very last 30, 40 minutes of the movie, really well done. Yeah, they did some really cool stuff there. That's the best part of the movie. The costuming is great. I love the suits that Bill Skarsgård wears, whatever. And a lot of the outfits are just amazing. I love the costuming of it all. The set designs are great. Love the set designs. I love the music. They play a lot of loud music, during action scenes, and it's really ups up the tension. And I love what they do there. So there's a lot of good technical stuff they do there. And you got the usual John Wick type fighting style, which is good, but we've seen it before, so nothing new there. Negativity, like, people say it's too long. It is a long movie, but I didn't feel that way. Like, I was never bored, to be honest, and I felt like it was really well paced. Like, the 3 hours, almost 3 hours went by actually fairly quick for me, where I was like, wow, we're at the end of the movie. Like, I never once thought, oh man, I can't wait till this movie's over. Even though I'm disappointed with the movie, it did a good job of keep the plot going and getting these action sequences in at the right time, so you're not too bogged down. by anything else. So it actually does a good job in that sense, which is a big thing for me. I don't like boring movies, so I'm happy they can make a long movie and not make it boring. That's always a plus. So that wasn't a problem for me, except I would say like, yeah, if they cut it down in 45 minutes, I would probably be happier with the movie. Because there's so much we didn't need in the movie, to be honest. And maybe and a lot of people said that, and I agree with them. There's just too many characters, too many set pieces. We didn't really need all of it. The whole Berlin scenes, I didn't need any of that. They could have done with all that out, all that part. Um, yeah, so many characters come in, and I feel like we didn't need them. The big one's the tracker. The tracker I thought was I didn't get that character at all. Why we needed that character, I don't know. It served no purpose to me to have that character in the movie and spend so much time with it and introduce him. And at the end, it was like, okay, what was the purpose? There's no purpose to it. I thought something was going to be revealed. Nothing got revealed. It was just like, oh, it's just another guy. I don't know why we needed him. We could have taken him out. Fine. Like I said, he could take the whole Berlin stuff and Scott Adkins out. Wouldn't miss it. Even the Japan stuff I didn't think was needed. I was like, I didn't really need any of these new characters in the Japan. Like, they did nothing for me, and they didn't really come back. You see him in Japan, and then he moves on, and you never see him again. So it's like, okay, I don't know why we needed these characters. And then you got, to me, maybe the most disappointing character, Donnie Yen. I like Johnny Yen. He's a great martial artist. He's been around for a while. He's one of the greats, I guess you say, of Chinese, kung fu masters, whatever, in cinema. So it's cool. I was like, all right, Donnie Yen. I love to see Donnie Yen. He plays a blind man assassin who shoots and gets in sword fights. And not going too much detail, but it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's so ridiculous. There's no way a blind person could be that good at shooting people or be in a sword fight. It just makes no sense at all. And right away, I was like, and he's in the whole movie. He's a major character. He's almost in every scene, it feels like. They have so many Donnie Yen. I didn't realize how big a character he's going to be, but man, he was the second biggest character in the movie, it felt like, maybe third. And yeah, it was just so stupid. There's no way he could do the stuff he did in that movie. It's just a little too much for me. And I like Donnie Yen, but I hated that character, to be honest. And they kept bringing him back. I was like, can he just go away? But they keep bringing him back in the movie. And there's all the little characters are in there that's like, okay, I didn't know if I needed all those people. And the one character I wanted was Lawrence Fishburne, the Bowery King. He is in scenes here and there, but it felt like he was hardly in the movie. And I felt like at the end of the third movie, he should have been a bigger part of this movie. Like, I thought the whole point of this movie was John Wick, and the Bowery King are joining forces to take out the High Table. But really none of that happens. Okay, my big problem is I don't understand who these characters are or what the purpose is. The Marquis is kind of the bad guy, but I have no idea who the Marquis is. Why is what is his purpose? I mean, he's the villain. He works for the High Table, I guess. I don't understand who the High Table is either. It's 12 members. How did they get in there? I like to know more. I feel like they didn't develop the characters good enough in the movie or explain who they were or what their purpose was. I was just the whole time like, I don't understand who this Marquis guy is. He has power to, send troops against John Wick and whatnot, assassins, and he has a lot of money, so he can up the $20 million or whatever he's given to anybody who can kill him. But somehow he works for the High Table, but he has all this authority. So I don't know why. I still don't understand who this guy is because he's brand new to the series. If they would have had him in the other movies, maybe, and be like, and by this time I'd be like, oh, the Marquis. I know who the Marquis is. But yeah, I wish they would do more explaining who the Marquis is. Like, who's this Marquis guy? Kind of like the Tracker. Who's the Tracker? I don't understand who this Tracker guy. Even Donnie Yen's character, like, who is he? Like, I don't understand exactly, except that he's an old friend assassin guy. That's all I know. The Elder, I have no idea who the Elder is. What authority does he have? Where is the hierarchy of the assassin world? It seems like these Marquis, the Elder, are up here, but I don't quite understand who's all in charge. I guess I mean, it's the high table, the 12 members are kind of this committee that make decisions as a committee, I guess. But then there's these other guys that seem like they're high up in the hierarchy, but I never understood what their purpose is or what the consequences of killing them are. And it seems like John Wick kills so many high-end people, and at the end it's like, oh, you can still get your life back if you do this. And I'm like, I feel like he's past the point of no return. Like, he either needs to be killed or he needs to kill everybody in the high table to be able to, and go in hiding or something. That's the only way he's going to survive. But in this one, it's like, I don't know, I didn't get the plot at all, where it's like, oh, if you kill this guy, then you get your life back. And it's like, that's all he has to do? Like, I feel like he killed a lot of people and he shouldn't be let off that easy. I don't know. I didn't get that. And of course, because it's this whole underworld assassin thing, they get to make up rules as it goes. So sometimes they'll be like, oh, here's another rule. And you're like, oh, okay, I just don't understand what's going on here. You can just make up rules with each movie. And I'm just go, oh, okay. Like it felt like the other movies didn't matter because, oh, there's rules in this movie that make the other movies almost, the third movie doesn't feel like it needs to exist because of what happens in this movie. The ending of the third movie makes absolutely no sense when you get to this movie. And it's like, okay, all the stuff that happened in the third movie seemed like it was for nothing. I don't know. I thought it was badly done that way. Like I said, we just didn't need this movie. It didn't do enough to make me go, yeah, I really needed a fourth John Wick movie. Though I said, if it's a good movie, if the action is great, then I'm all for it. But to be truth, the action just wasn't that much greater than the other movies. Like, I feel like if I wanted the great action, I'd just go see the other three. I didn't need to see this one. Like I said, Paris was the only action sequence that I thought was so good that was needed. Other ones, I was like, I felt like it's been done before in John Wick and the other three movies that we didn't need it again. So, I don't know. So that's my problems with the movies, that I don't think they explain the characters very well, I don't think they explain the story, the plot, or the underworld as well as they should, so I can understand what's going on. And I wish they can do a better job with that. Obviously, the other big problem is, and I kind of agree, I didn't think I would, but it is ridiculous how many times John Wick falls off of buildings and high places and gets up, even though he should be dead, should have a broken back, should have concussion, but he gets up. How many times he gets hit by cars and gets up? It just doesn't make any sense. They do push the limit to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't believe this anymore. You guys have gone too far. Anyway, so that is a problem with the movie, I have to admit. I can understand like one car hitting them, but 5 cars hitting them is a little much, anyways. And falling down a flight of stairs and falling off of like 2 buildings, it's like, okay, what is there anything that can kill John Wick? Is it possible? Is he immortal? I don't know. I mean, supposedly not, but it seems like he is at times. And the way they end the movie, it doesn't feel like, I thought there was going to be a 5th John Wick movie, but the way they end this movie, it feels like there's not going to be another one. Like this might be the last one. And I'm kind of like, if this is the last one, this is a really terrible way of ending this franchise. Like they really messed it up with this one, if this is the last one, because it's not a satisfying ending to this franchise at all. In my opinion, like I'm not happy with this at all. If this is the ending, if they make a 5th one and they somehow come up with a better ending in a 5th one, then it'll make this movie better. But if this is the last one, it make this movie even worse than what I'm saying is, because it's just unnecessary, unneeded. Like I said, if they could have ended in the 3rd one, it would have been a perfect ending to this franchise and have him go back to his life, kind of thing. But to end it here, it's like, this is not the ending I wanted for this franchise or for this character. And yeah, it's disappointing. I'm kind of mad at it at the moment. So I'm emotional. I have to go back to this movie at some point and see if I still feel this way. And like I said, I'll do a live stream maybe to really give some more details of what I had problems with. Like I said, so I don't know. I feel like I'm probably going to rate it right now. I'd probably give it like 2.5 stars. Like it was so, and again, because the other 3 are so good, this one's going to get a much worse rating for me. And yeah, I can't recommend it. I almost want to say, I almost wish this movie doesn't exist. And I'll just pretend like this movie never exists. And I'll just watch the first 3 and just pretend like, same thing I do with Indiana Jones. I pretend like Indiana Jones 4 doesn't exist. I just watch the first 3 and that's it. And in my mind, I'm like, that's the only 3 that matter. Star Wars, I do the same thing. The original Star Wars is the only Star Wars that exists in my mind. The prequels and sequels don't exist at all. I just pretend like that doesn't exist. and I can just be happy with those three. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Yeah, tell me if, am I wrong? I know some people have agreed with a lot of those things. I know some people like this way more than I do. So I don't know. Tell me where I'm wrong. Uh, Tell me where I'm right. I'd love to hear that. But yeah, just if you want to comment, go ahead. Just please be nice to me and I'll comment back. And just, yeah, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for anybody that liked it. And thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you and hope you have a good day.